Opportunities to invest in domestic sustainable food and agriculture have grown dramatically in the last decade. Considering Africa's rising income levels and high population growth rate, food demand will skyrocket in the medium term, creating new opportunities for agricultural investment and growth in this sector. The urgency on Africa's food production to satisfy demand will necessitate significant investment to ensure food security, as Africa is the only region that has yet to experience a green revolution. Currently, small-scale farmers account for over 60% of Africa's population, while agriculture accounts for approximately 23% of the continent's gross domestic product. Nonetheless, much of Africa's agricultural potential remains untapped. Experts say agriculture is a low-risk investment that keeps pace with inflation and increases in value over the long term. There are many reasons why you should consider investing in agriculture in Africa, as this industry is set to create many dollar millionaires in the coming years.
Over the past 13 episodes of African Farming, I've met incredible diverse farmers, and in the process, I also learned about the farmers themselves, their stories, their challenges, and their triumphs. Today, we celebrate those triumphs and the future of farming in South Africa.
I'm excited about the future of farming in Mzansi because a lot of people are realizing the importance of food security in our lifetime, especially the young generation.
More and more young black farmers are getting involved in the agricultural sector.
I think more and more young people are seeing the value within the sector with new innovation and technology that they're coming with as young people. They will revolutionize the sector.
We need young key role players of reducing poverty by creating jobs in the country, more especially young people.
Farming now is becoming more fashionable and a lot of women now are into farming, so that's very great.
I am excited about the future of farming in Mzansi because it's transforming through evolution of technology and it's a way of creating employment in South Africa.
I feel like being a young country, we have a lot of opportunities. There's opportunities to grow things right the first time, to grow things efficiently and more sustainable for the future.
There's opportunities within the world, the continent, South Africa, the provinces, and everywhere you go, there's just food supply opportunities.
Farming in Mzansi is exciting because our country is blessed with good rainfall and fertile soil.
As you all know, farming is very, very important in our lives. Without farming, there's no food. Now, with this youth getting more and more involved, the future looks bright.
To all our farmers, thank you for inspiring us.
I think one of the most important things is the localized operation, which is the key to our survival. There are only 8 Chinese staff here, but we employ over 270 local farmers. Through their work at the farm, they can learn more advanced farming skills and technologies, which sets a good example for nearby farmers. They can transfer these technologies and skills in the future.
Duan Changlong said Drunken Estates has created over 3,300 jobs in Zambia since its establishment, and the farm production is very high. The annual number of layers is 100,000, and the daily egg production is 50,000. The company also produces over 4,000 tons of crops for Lusaka's market each year, which accounts for 8% of the capital's annual production. Wheat is a major crop at this farm through modern farming technologies and localization of operations. Drunken Estates wheat production has seen a year-on-year increase. 2015 is expected to hit a record high. The Zambian government is expecting more agricultural cooperation with Chinese companies due to Drunken Estates' performance. At harvest time, Kevin Lubinda, the Zambian Minister of Agriculture and Livestock, visited Drunken Estates. He was impressed by what Drunken has done and gave his backing to Drunken, expanding its operations.
But there are many other Chinese companies that I'd like to invite to come to Zambia to come and learn from what John Keynes is doing, so they can also come and invest in Zambia. I am currently discussing with some Chinese companies to set up what we're going to refer to as the China-Zambia Agricultural Cooperation Zone, which is going to have a training school for agriculture, is going to provide machinery, is going to provide inputs, but also is going to provide the much-needed market for Zambian farmers.
Besides these large-scale farms, many Chinese companies also built a number of agricultural technology demonstration centers in African countries, including Tanzania, Rwanda, and Mozambique. Since 2012, this demonstration center in Tanzania has trained 1,100 Tanzanians, including agricultural officials, technicians, and local farmers.
Every month, many local farmers come to our center and learn. We present them with all the advanced farming technologies and our latest seeds and their growth. The farmers are very happy to see that and hope to bring these seeds back to their farms for trial use.
Cooperation between China and Africa on agriculture has grown deeper and wider in recent years. Duan Changlong said many Zambians he works with want to have their own farms, and he hopes that those farmers in Zhangking Estate could use all the technologies and skills they learned to realize their hopes. Wu Lei, CCTV.
Trends like avocado toast and organic beauty products have seen consumers opting for the buttery textured fruit, with farmers looking to take advantage of year-round demand and attractive prices. The South African avocado industry season usually lasts from March to August.
I think people like avocado and eating bread, so that's why coming by, especially morning and drinking tea. So it's the winter time is doing that. Yes.
The local industry exports more than half of its annual productions of around 125,000 tons to Europe, with farmers looking at expanding into drier areas to extend their season. Demand is also high at home. Sam has been selling fruits for the last 18 years and says avocados have been his most profitable investment.
Out of all the fruits I sell, the avocados make the most profit. I get 100% profit, I would say. They really boost my business. You see, by today, all these avocados will be finished. So I will have to come back early tomorrow to stock again because my customers like them very much.
Avocados were traditionally grown in humid subtropical climates within Limpopo, Mpumalanga and KwaZulu-Natal provinces, but are now moving into areas in the Eastern Cape and the Western Cape provinces in the last 5 years. The 128-year-old avocado, lychee and pecan producer and exporter Halls, which annually sells more than 6.5 million avocado cartons, is among the growers who are hoping to extend the season up until December with a trial project to grow avocados in the Western Cape.
The pricing has increased dramatically. The farming practices have increased yields, and so it's a very attractive commodity, or it's not quite a commodity, it's a very attractive fruit to be producing.
Despite the fruit taking at least 6 years to reach production, export prices have more than doubled since 2008, from an average of 9.64 Rand per kilogram to 22.10 Rand per kilogram in 2017, analysts say. The boom in the profitable crop is also creating much-needed employment for local communities.
Yes, my life has definitely changed because I am now able to support my family and my children and basically take care of myself with everything that I need.
The farm where LeQuain works is owned by a local trust and exports around 80% of its 260 hectares of avocados and is planning to expand by another 120 hectares.
Familiar gestures for Modibo, who's been making yogurt for years. Born in Mali, he crossed the Mediterranean in a rubber dinghy before landing in Italy in 2008. For 10 years now, he has been a member of a cooperative set up by African immigrants.
Vogliamo da africano per levare un po' di difficoltà, perché ancora molta gente sta campagna, sta fruttamento, perché africano creare qualcosa, preparare da mangiare per vendere in Europa non è facile.
Every week, the cooperative produces over 200 litres of yoghurt. And not only yoghurt. There are also 6 hectares producing vegetables, cultivated by members of this initiative called Barikama, which means resilience in the Bambara language of Mali. These immigrants work all year round on this land surrounding a volcanic lake about 30 kilometres from Rome. Here, the produce is certified organic.
Qua è zucchina e cipolla e fagioli, poi pomodoro e qua.
The cooperative gives a contract of employment. Thanks to this document, Saidou was able to get a resident permit.
Qua tutti siamo soci, quindi siamo tutti uguali. Lavoriamo norme, poi dividiamo insieme.
The production here was not interrupted during the coronavirus crisis. Indeed, quite the opposite.
Dans la période de confinement, on a plus travaillé parce que le nombre de demandes a vraiment quadruplé, je peux dire. Les gens ne pouvaient plus sortir. Donc, et nous, on a adopté ce système au moins de livrer à domicile.
This service was welcomed by the locals who look forward to each delivery.
Hanno una roba buonissima di frutta e di verdura e sono veramente bravi e in gamba, in più ho voglia di sostenere.
È un servizio che per me è preziosissimo. Durante il Covid io mi sono servita solo con loro.
Today, the cooperative sells through dozens of markets and purchasing groups in the region. Its members are hoping that their model will be an example and inspire other immigrants.
It's on this 100,000 square metre field in the middle of rural England where you'll find David Moanaka, a former journalist who escaped press censorship in Zimbabwe. He's now one of the only 2 black farmers in Britain and the country's only maize producer.
I never ever thought I would come to the United Kingdom and end up as a farmer in this country. I grew up eating white maize in Zimbabwe like most Zimbabweans. And when I came to the UK, it just wasn't available.
Growing white maize under harsh weather conditions wasn't the only challenge David faced. He also struggled to find landowners willing to take on a chance on an inexperienced and newly arrived African immigrant.
The first thing I did was going around knocking on farmers' doors, ask them if they had any bit of land to let so that I could start growing maize. I put an advert in one of the national newspapers that I was looking for land to grow white maize.
After toiling for 6 years, David has been able to lay down some roots. He now grows his crops across 2 square kilometres of farmland in the UK and is the sole supplier of white maize to some of the country's biggest retailers, including Harrods. David feels the impact of his farming most here at the Moanaka store he opened himself. This diverse community, including the African diaspora and curious local shoppers, can buy fresh produce such as white maize and pumpkin leaves that go straight from the farm to table.
People kind of go absolutely crazy for this as well. This is pumpkin leaves. If you're lucky, you'll find it on a good day. It's not promised, so yeah, if you do find it, you're lucky. Oh, thank God.
As well as providing the African community with nostalgic food from home, David is also shaking up the representation of farmers in Britain. Access to farming in Britain still remains a rarity amongst budding black farmers. And agriculture is still one of the least diverse sectors across the country. And that's mainly due to its tough barriers to entry. Despite this, David has created a niche within a rigid industry and become an inspiration to other budding farmers and entrepreneurs.